I'm hanging in there. It's hard. Every morning I don't know what I'm going to wake up to. So.
Well, let's talk about the latest that you have awakened to, this report that John emptied a joint bank account of hundreds of thousands of dollars, leaving you with just $1,000. Is that accurate?
It is accurate. You know, when we started this out, I was determined. I didn't want to discuss this stuff. I didn't want it out there. I didn't want to talk about it. Obviously, it has gotten out, and it is true.
So how much money did he take out of the account? And what were the stipulations with regard to that account, when you could take out money and for what purposes?
Back in the beginning, when we had our first meeting, the arbitrator said that neither one of us could take money without the other's consent. However, I was given, historically, I am the bill payer, I am the money manager, so obviously I was allowed to show proof of every bill I paid and use that money that way. The money, our liquid money, this joint bank account contained all of our liquid money, and it was sitting there waiting to be paid. He was not allowed to touch it. At some point I removed it to keep it safe on the suggestion of my lawyer, but needed to put it back according to the arbitrator. I did that. I felt unsafe.
Why did you remove it? Did you think that he was going to try to take funds out of that account?
He had done it a few days before I filed for divorce. He didn't empty it completely, but it was enough that that I was afraid. In fact, at some point, up until that point, I had taken $100,000 and put it aside safely so that I could buy my kids food if this occurred. I was afraid. He was literally buying erratic purchases, randomly purchasing things. And I'm sorry. The last thing I wanted was to do this show and end up not being able to pay my bills. Well, so I put money aside, willingly brought it forward and split it with him when we had our meeting. So he took the $50,000 and did whatever with it. I paid bills with my $50,000. And once the court arbitrator stepped in, I felt like the money, I had to put it back. I didn't feel like it would be safe, to be honest. And he took $230,000 of the $231,000 that we have liquid. And I have a stack of bills in my purse I can't drop in the mail.
Well, let me tell you what his lawyer said. We reached out. They did not respond to us, but they did respond to E.T. and the Insider. And they said John, quote, has not withdrawn any money for his own remuneration, with the exception of the past several months, wherein he believes he only withdrew approximately $175,000. And, quote, it is not unlikely when the arbitrator or court receive a full accounting of all the proceeds that John will be awarded substantial additional funds.
I have a few comments to that. First of all, I have the accounting over the last few months, and it's exactly $230,000 beginning on August 10th, and his last withdrawal was September 29th. Second of all, it's wonderful to say that he will be awarded significant funds. However, there are no significant funds for him to be awarded, and I don't care that he feels he needs to be awarded this. When you have left your children and their mother unable to pay the roof over their head, it's not acceptable.
Will you demand that money be redeposited in the account?
I have to, in order to keep my kids where they live and to put food on their table. I need that money to provide for them. You have to understand my position here. We were in a position after our sextuplets were born that we could not pay our bills. We did the show to provide a better life for them. Never did I think I would be back in the same position, worried about providing for them.
Well, let's talk about what's happened to this show. It all really began last week when TLC announced that it was going on hiatus. It would come back as, not as John and Kate plus 8, but as Kate plus 8, that John would have a limited role. Were you aware that that was going to happen, and were you part of that decision-making, Kate? Did you want John to have a limited role?
I was aware of it, but I wasn't in the decision process. I was in agreement with it because I feel like at this point, unfortunately, we do have different goals, and it appears to me, my opinion, that there is one parent at this point that is pulling for the best of our children. And it's upsetting to me, and I think that it was upsetting to the world to watch the unraveling. I feel like John is, not on the same path as me, obviously. And I felt like it was the best thing to come out of this. And I'm a contract honorer. When I put my name on a piece of paper, the situation may change, but I want to do what I say I'm doing.
And yet John has argued in the past few days that the best thing would be for this show to be off the air right now. That he claims that the kids have said to him they don't want any more filming, and TLC has in fact postponed the filming because he has basically said cease and desist. Did you have a conversation with John about that, about postponing the show, at least for the time being?
I have never had a conversation. I do not talk about these issues with him because it seems that whenever I have a conversation and we solve something, different things, he hangs up the phone and does something completely different. This is historical. It's almost not even really worth it anymore. I do talk to him about custody when I can get a hold of him. It's not for a lack of trying on my part as far as communication. I have called 20 times a day before and have found myself making decisions alone without his consent because I simply cannot reach him. The kids have, over the weekend, I told them that we're not filming at this point, and actually, times 8, there was wailing and sobbing. They love our crew, they love the interaction, they love the events, and there is nothing harmful about it. They are angry.
So when he says the kids have said to him they want the filming to stop, your response to that is?
I'm sorry, I'm not present all the time, but it has never happened, not the response I saw this weekend.
Kate, where do you think the disconnect is? Because John also said that he had had an epiphany, that he wanted the divorce proceedings halted for 90 days, that he wanted you two to become friends and to mediate together, and that he was going to reach out to you and actually apologize to you. Can you be friends? Is it possible at this point for you two to bury this hatchet and to mediate together, or has it gone too far?
He has gone way far off the trail. I will keep peace where I need to keep peace. Obviously, I'm very upset. I can't sleep at night. I can't pay my bills. I think that he's receiving bad counsel. He has always been one to listen to the person who's next to him, and I think that he's receiving bad advice. I think he's making bad decisions, and I honestly, call me crazy. I've said it before, but I'm still hoping that at some point I'll receive a phone call and the old John is back.
But if John decides that he wants this show postponed or removed from the air, he has the power to do that, doesn't he?
TLC has always said if any one of us comments that, it is not healthy, it's not good, whatever, they will honor that. And even just the allegation, they have to abide by that. They have to hear his voice in that. And unfortunately, it's our source of income. And so in one fell swoop, in 1 week, he basically, at his hands, all of this has been removed. Our money, our income. It's a terribly hard situation to be in. I never wanted to sit here talking about these details. I just feel like I need to get the facts out there, the truth, not my opinion, the truth of what has actually occurred and what is occurring, because when my kids look back on it, I don't want them to see untruths. I want them to see the balance of, no, this is reality.
But does any part of you, Kate, believe that maybe he's right, maybe enough's enough now? Maybe it's time to put this show to bed and to resolve these issues very privately?
I wish I could, but he keeps playing to the media. He doesn't tell me the things you've seen him say on TV, I have never heard from him. It doesn't even sound like his words. And he's never picked up the phone and said any of those things to me.
Okay, we appreciate you being here this morning. So many other things I'd like to talk to you about, hopefully at another time. Thank you so much.